Can you tell the difference between the before and after eyebrows? Well, you guessed it, it's the brow arch. If you want to learn how to elevate your brow arch without looking overly drawn, this is definitely your brow video. I've been doing a couple of series on brow arches, and this one is going to be just using a little bit of powder, pencil, and how to even make it last with some brow gel. So you want to stick around if that is something that you want to keep practicing. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. So like I said, I've been doing a couple of series on the brow arches. This one is just a slightly different take on it because I'm using powder and pencil. So if that's you, you like powder, you like pencil, or you like to maybe use both, and how can you? This is definitely the video for you. You want to stick around for that. I did mention that I have an old brow tattoo. Some of you are new, so welcome to this channel. I do use myself as a model, but mainly I want you to focus on the model over to your left screen, I think. And so I'm hoping that you can relate with her. And if you don't, there's always going to be tips on this video that I know that you can find useful, which is why I also encourage you to share this with someone that you know can really use this tip, right? So like I said, it's going to be about the brow arch. I have been shaping eyebrows for over 25 years. So again, for some of you that are new, this is why I call myself a brow expert. And so I'm hoping to be your expert. And I hope to just show you some basic things, some simple things, and even some advanced things for some of you that really want to elevate your brow game. So thank you for joining me. And without further ado, let's bring on this model. Okay, so there's going to be a few things I want to show you before we get started on my eyebrow, along with the model, of course. But the most important thing, again, is the brow arch. Like I showed you in the last previous videos, it's all about the arch. Because if you have the arch a little bit more elevated, it gives you that brow lift and without having to do too much. Okay, so before I shape our eyebrows, I just want to quickly show you that this is the main area that we're going to focus on. So if this is something that you're having a problem with and you've seen my other videos, you're like, I'm not quite sure yet, this is why I want to just touch on it again, just to really give you guys a good solid idea as to what exactly is the best way, right? And so, and it's really, this is also very important that it's staying very close to the brow line. So that's something else that's important. Now I'm using the brow primer. The primer has no color. And if you haven't used this already, get one, because this not only pastes your hair down, which a client of mine said that she uses this for brow gel, it really does help the color to go on much easier because I'm going to use a powder. So it has no color. It has like a velvety like texture, so it's very easy to work with. So you want to put it mainly in the area they're going to work on, which in this case is up in the arch area. So I did shape her eyebrows. I mainly just kind of lifted up a tiny bit here just to kind of elevate her brow ends. It was too low, and you're going to see again in the before and after towards the end just to see how a little area makes such a big difference, right? Okay, so I'm combing through the primer with the clean spoolie brush. You can get bags of these on Amazon. So that's something that I want you guys to always have because you use it to measure your eyebrows. This part right here, the spoolie just really combs it through, and you want the product not to stay in one little area, right? Okay, so I'm using the taupe dual powder. The taupe dual powder is perfect for her color, and medium brown if you're a tiny bit darker than her, ash brown if you're my color. So the dual powder is perfect for this. Now, this is what I mean by the spoolie brush works so beautifully. When you're not needing this part, you could turn it over, and right here is a pinch of the nose. I've obviously blurred out the rest of her face because you don't need to see her face, right? To protect her identity. Okay, so the pinch is right here. Now, I always say corner of the iris, corner here. If I say, I mean the pupil. If I say the iris, I mean iris is that larger part, right? So by saying the pupil, you really get it right here in the middle, but right at that corner. And this is where I already obviously know where my arch is by now. You guys might too. Make that little mark because that always helps you in reaching for it. I'm using the darker side of the powder mainly because you're going slightly above the hairline, so you want something that's a little bit darker. Why am I using a powder? The powder is great because the brush is nice and thin, and I'm barely pressing much pressure because applying much pressure. because I using the primer, right? I've used that one. So when I use the powder, it just grabs immediately. So you don't need to apply that much pressure. Now notice how I'm going to hold the brush. I'm laying it down. I'm not holding it like this. Obviously I'm right-handed, but I'm using my left eyebrow. I'm laying the brush like this. Now if you're on this side, on your right side, you would lay it this way. On this side, you're laying it this way. And by laying it down, and you're, first of all, not putting that much pressure, you're relaxing. I'm starting the middle of the eyebrow, and I'm just reaching for that arch mark. And then I'm slightly going down, but not too far down. If you go too far down, then you're just gonna drag the brow down, right? We don't want to drag the brow down. You want that end, but not too much. And you're going this way, not this way. So I'm creating that outline because, again, the brush is sharp. By laying it down, you're keeping the brush sharp. Light pressure keeps the line sharp. You're creating that outline because in this, I find that this can help. So if some of you are really loving to use powder, this is when you bring out the powder, right? But if you want to fill the inside deeper and you can't get it with the powder, which you probably can, you don't need to use anything else because you put that primer underneath. But the outlining, I find, can be just very helpful with that thin application, with the thin brush. So I'm using the Brow Wiz. Now the Brow Wiz is perfect because, first of all, it's medium brown. Now I'm going a little bit darker. Can I use taupe? I can't, but because I've created that little outline, I want it to be darker inside that pocket, inside that little area in her. So the medium brown is going to be a tiny bit darker. I don't want to go too dark, obviously, but it's darker than that taupe powder. So that's important, right? On me, I'm actually using ebony. So again, if you're my color, ash brown powder, ebony pencil. So this is the part where I really want you to look at. I'm going on the outside of her brow line, real close to the outline, because it's focusing to giving her that brow lift. If I focus right on her brow line and going this way, it's dragging the brow down. So by filling the inside pocket, remember that outline, and then going out and inside, out and in, not in and low, right? And notice how I'm holding the pencil, very similar to the way I was holding the brush. And just holding it like this, thumb and my finger, I'm allowing very light pressure. If I hold it like this, like I'm writing a pencil, the regular pencil, I tend to put a little bit too much pressure. So I hold it like this, very relaxed, and I'm just filling it in. Okay, so this is what you want to try to do if you're not doing that already. Now I'm using the lighter side of the dual powder. This is where the powder really could come in and be the star of the show, really, because the pencil is so important for that gap, that upper pocket, but the powder can really just add that extra color without looking too overly done. And so, and the other thing that you're going to see in a minute is how the brush can help. So if you find yourself intimidated with the powder and brush, try it out, because once you get the hang of it, it's so easy. Now the longer part of that brush, because you know this is an angle brush, right? You got that shorter end, you got that longer end right here. So right here, and so the longer end is closer this way to the nose bridge, and the shorter ends this way. Now I'm right-handed, but I'll use my left hand so you can see. Notice how I'm holding it over my eyebrows. Now if you're right-handed and you still want to use your right hand, you would hold it this way, okay? Making sure that the longer part is still down this way, okay, closer to the nose bridge. So by holding it this way, you're really allowing the brush just to do all the work. And I'm also gonna just press very lightly, not hard. Even on the model, look at that, I'm brushing it up very lightly, and you're still seeing some color down below here. By having the color low here, you're creating the illusion that the arch is high. If you have it straight up in the front or flat, it doesn't enhance the arch. Now, it might work for someone like me. I'm Asian, right, with the flat eyelid, so straighter looks best. But if you're not Asian with the flat eyelid, this is how low you want to go. Not too low, but lower where you're doing this. It's an angle, remember? Like a soft, moderate ski slope where the front's low and then it raises the arch. And by doing this and just lightly dusting, you're just getting the background down below the front. You're not getting a harsh, dark look. At least that's not what I like. So that's why this is so important with that light color. Okay, so the highlighter is a really great way of elevating the eyebrows, making it, giving it more of a brow lift. So the highlighter also just cleans up any mess. But before I get into the highlighter, some of you have asked me, you know, I have the pencil sharpener, but it's not fitting in this little hole. Well, not the big hole. It's actually, there's a guard in here. So you want to pull that out and then it'll fit in here. Now, I think this is more of a protection guard, but you may leave it in there if you have a smaller size highlighter than this one right here, which is by Anastasia, Beverly Hills. But I take it out and then I put the pencil in here and sharpen. I only go like 2 or 3 rounds. I don't constantly go back and forth. You don't need to waste too much, and you just need a tiny bit of that sharpened, not that much. So you don't obviously need to use it all the time if it's just you. So there you go with the sharpener. I hope that helped. Please leave in the comment box if you were wondering about that. And our sharpener is great because it does have a little cleaning device in there. You pull it out here and then it just cleans it out. So I really like this sharpener. I will tag and put that in the descriptions in case you're wondering. So I'm using both sides of the highlighter. One's the matte side and the other one is the shiny side. You can use both. You can use one or the other. I'll use both just you know, because I did on her. And of course the brush 18, which I often call the eraser, and also just kind of gives it more of a polished look. By applying the highlighter, you can see, just on me now you're looking at me, right? See how you can see the highlighter? Now, if it's a little too bright for you, because mattes can do that, you turn it over to the shiny side, and it actually tones down the matte. Now, for some of you might say, oh, well, I don't use anything shiny because I have more of a mature skin. You know what? Shiny sometimes alone is not a bad idea. It's not glitter. It's not going to crepe into the lines. It's more of a velvety kind of glow. Okay, so you want glow, especially when you're maturing. And right here, you don't really have many wrinkles right there anyway, so don't worry about it. And I find that when you have something that's more shiny and glowy, it minimizes the lines and just gives it more of a healthier glow. So, and the brush 18, of course, just, you know, that goes without saying, it just cleans up any mess. So the clear brow gel is also very important in this case. I always emphasize gels, especially when you're lifting, when you want that lift because the brows or the hair is laying down. By looking at this, you can see what? That the hair is going up, not straight up, because I don't like hairs going straight up. I think like that looks unnatural, but that's just me. You do what you like, really. But as long as the hair is up as opposed to down, it elevates the eyebrows, it enhances the arch, gives you a brow lift, and most importantly, makes the brows look fuller. So 2 or 3 strokes, you don't need much. Keep that in mind. Too much, and it's like hairspray in one chunk. It gets too crusty. You don't want that. So beautiful before and after, right? And I want you to pay attention to a few things. The front is lower, right? Compared to the before. Very important. That makes a big difference, but importantly, it's not too dark. Excuse me, it's not too dark, right? So that's important. You want it light, you want a background, you don't want it dark. Okay, so that's very important. And the other thing is that the hair is combed up in an angle. That just really makes the brows look so much fuller. With that, I didn't go that full. As you can see from the before and after, part of the reason why it looks fuller is because I waxed the unwanted hairs here and I left a few behind. I lifted the ends. That's the third important thing. The tweezing right here, I lifted that. You could fill them in just like the way you like it and tweeze any excess hairs around it. So that way it really gives you that brow lift. I can't emphasize that enough. We all need an end. We just don't need it too much down below, especially as you're aging, because then your skin just goes down and down. You want to go up and up, right? So I hope that helps. Let me know if it did. So like I said, I hope this tip helped. If you haven't looked at the other brow arch videos, I encourage you to do so because these all have some really good tips in how to bring out your arch. Yes, I touch on very similar things as I do in the previous videos, but I hope that I always give you something a little bit different. And if you can't relate with this, I know you know someone that can use this tip. So definitely pass this along. Share this with anyone that you know can benefit from this. Give me the comments. Let me know that this has helped you. Give me a like, which helps helps me a lot. When you engage with me, YouTube knows that you are doing so, right? And that helps me. I will tag all the products. Some of the colors aren't exactly tagged because it doesn't come up in the tag for some reason, but I will write all of that in the descriptions below, including my lipstick, which is Sunbaked. It's my favorite lipstick. It's my lipstick until I am finished with it by Anastasia Beverly Hills with the lip liner. So I will write all that. Please give me any feedback as to how you think this has helped you. And so many have. Thank you so much for letting me know, because that helps me to know that I'm doing the right thing. Thank you for letting me know where you're from, because that's also very cool. And so yeah, thank you for sticking with me for this video, and I will see you guys next week.